Hi everyone, this is Catcomb1 here, trying again because I had my microphone on mute by accident the first time I started recording this. Thankfully I caught it at the end of the first level, so I didn't waste more than say 10 or 15 minutes. But this is Deimos Deja Vu for Ultimate Doom, an episode 2 replacement designed by Hovo Hibu, who is the same author who did Serpent's Wake that I recorded yesterday. Um, but this was released in 2010, almost a decade earlier than that, and not only is it an episode 2 style episode, all the levels are meant to be based on the shells of the original episode 2 levels. And back in 2010, a lot of the vanilla style resurgence wads you see nowadays came from the 2010s as opposed to the 2000s. So there were much fewer of those around at this time. In fact, Doom the way it did wasn't even started until later that summer of 2010, which was a few weeks after this WAD made it to final release. I don't know if one had influence on the other or not. Although Doom the way it did, you're not supposed to have any homages at all in this episode. I tried to make sure there were a good deal of homages. I suggested the author add some in some places and change his texturing in some places just to make it look more like the original, but not so similar that it doesn't feel like a fresh experience. And well, 10 years later, I hope I was reasonably successful. I guess you judge me in the comments. I also tried to make it harder than the original, and there's fewer optional areas just because at the time I wasn't really a fan of the percentage of optional areas in the original episode 2. But anyways, I gonna get going. I can always talk about things I remember as I'm playing. So yeah, I was a primary tester for this WAD. And this comes down to one of my first aesthetic suggestions I can clearly remember is that Hover Hibu's original version did not have this cross in it at all. So, given it's really a trademark element of the original E2M1, and yes, the levels have the same names as the originals, I told him he should probably add it, and just like in the original, stand in the middle, it'll hurt you. Now, as I mentioned, I didn't want the levels to just be like copies of the originals either. So you'll see a first difference here already. The teleporter, well, it's a blue teleporter as opposed to red, but more importantly, it's sealed off beyond the red key door. Still wanted it to feel enough like a fresh experience as well. Even in 2010, I didn't want it to. I didn't think people will want a WAD, or even I'd be particularly interested in a WAD that didn't have its own twists and tones to it. So this area opens up differently. This switch does not reveal pinkies. Well, it reveals one by the blue key, but more importantly, it reveals the blue key. And then beyond the blue door, you actually teleport into the opposite side of the room, which doesn't have pinkies in it either, or demons as they're called more appropriately. But they're in the middle here instead. So you lower the middle only after you've seen both sides of the room. And also in the middle is a balcony with a yellow key in it, which just connects straight into the ending rooms. It's not separated by another teleporter. And the end isn't separated off by a teleport either here. So, Deimos Anomaly, you had to explore most of the level in the original game too, and this one is probably simpler than most for me to notice and explain where the differences are. So, I mean, there'll be a lot of differences going forward, especially in the optional to explore areas, and some of them you'll probably just see for yourself. So yeah, it's containment area. And of course, I know back in the year 2000, Sailor Scout did a far more advanced reimagining of containment area than this map is. Actually a Doom 2 map, but actually played that map for a 25 years of Doom special, and well, I had some issues with the gameplay of it. The aesthetics were definitely very good for 2000. So this is a more vanilla reimagining of containment area, and necessarily on a much smaller scale than that. In Sailor Scout's map, there were 3 cyber demons, which is crazy. You don't even know the cyber demon yet in Ultimate Doom at this point. There might have even been 4 cyber demons, I can't remember. The level's on my channel though. I don't have voice commentary, but the level is there on my channel. So I did make some more exploration of the... I did have Hovo Hebrew make sure he made some more exploration of the Bax maze be necessary, but I also had him... he also kept its size somewhat limited, so it shouldn't be too confusing to navigate. There's more than one exit from it, as you see. That's actually a secret I found. Mind that I did test this 10 years ago, so I don't remember every single nook and cranny. Oh, what the heck. I'm gonna fire off my last chain gun bullet just because I want to. Yep, I remember this part. You have to find this door in the Bax maze. Which gets you to the switch here. And that switch opens up this door on the side here. So you can get out of the Bax maze for the time being. I think that's all there was to do in the Bax maze, but as you see, you have to explore it to find that door, but it's not too confusing. So now this is already an example of a bunch of optional, previously optional areas you now have to visit. Whoa! I didn't think I'd get cornered like that. Now this, of course, is a trademark section that you do have to visit in the original level as well. I know back at the time I was not a fan of much excess health or ammo and what, so be careful you stay somewhat conservative with it. But that definitely does have, in my opinion, the positive effect that it makes it quite a bit more challenging of an episode to beat than the original Shores of Hell. which is something Doom the way it did maybe didn't do quite enough up the challenge level. I remember there was a key back over there. I'm still gonna just explore the other areas for now if I can get there to them. Oh, yeah, what's containment area without the crusher room? You caused me enough problems, Baron. So yes, I'm still gonna try with the crusher room. I guess it surprised me that I didn't remember you don't get to the crusher room the same way you did in the original. Which of course is part of making sure it's not just a copy and it is its own unique episode, at least in my opinion. Well, oh no, the Barons did survive. I'd like to get more crushers started up so I don't have to use my ammo. Why use my own weapons when those infinite ones right in front of me? Come on, get under the crusher, stay under the crusher, and now die. Yep, slow crushers can do that even to Barons. Just don't get your head caught under one though. Nope, I don't have a red key yet. I don't have a yellow key, which means my memory serves me right. This way is the way to go. And this time you do kind of, I guess you could argue I forced a chasm homage in here, but I think this is nowhere near as mean or excessive as that level is. Actually, I think Hover Hebrew had it this way, and if I recall, this slime was lava. I had him change that because, well, lava looks more like hell than episode 2 in my opinion. I guess it could have been blood as well, but I think slime fits the look alright. And here's where you get the yellow key. Oh, and this area, I didn't explore everything that wasn't keyed off yet. Yeah, I remember this part in the test, in my testing too. Come on, get out of their soul. That's just how you get out of those things. Or you can fall down and use the lift. Now this tower, you get in from that angle. And don't fall under the crushers, of course. And your red key. And there's both the yellow door and the red door that I haven't opened yet. Oh, and this exit area. All those barrels and zombies, yeah. Just try and get a barrel to blow up. It's a little barrels of fun, yeah. Now, like the original, the exit is across a slime pit. Unlike the original, you can't just skip by the slime pit by strafe jumping over it. And the switch to raise the bridge, well, it's not something you can just wall hump, so goodbye speedrunning shortcuts, I'm afraid. And should you go in and take a suit, there is a secret available over here. And the little game of Tag the Switch will get your computer area map. And a backpack. And the supercharge, which you could have probably seen earlier on. And that drop just takes you back near the stout. We want to go this way. So the yellow key is what you need for the control tower that raises the bridge, then you need the red key to actually get to the bridge itself. And yeah, that was containment area. And I know there were probably quite a few areas that were cut out as well. I didn't pay that much attention to if the author cut out some areas. I just made sure I just wanted it to seem more difficult than the original, take a bit longer to finish, and look enough like a homage to it. And that's what I hope these maps come across as, because I did suggest a ton of texture changes for show and some difficulty increases. Again, just let me know how you think I did in the comments and don't be shy. And of course we get to the refinery next. Yes, you can see the exit across from the beginning. I guess you could call these levels a lot less freeform than the original episode 2, in that the progression's a lot more defined and there's a lot less optional areas, which, knowing what I know now, could be viewed as either a good thing or a bad thing. Yes, there's a blue key in the center this time, but that bell's got to come up from it. This is another room where the author had lava originally. I remember he did that quite a bit using lava instead of slime, and that made it look a lot less like episode 2 to me. And this room had sort of an episode 1 style of texture, really not at all like the room I believe it is designed to resemble in the original, from the original E2M3. And that's a dead end for now because I need a yellow key. So obviously the candles show you the right way to go. But if I remember, this is a bit of a toxin refinery type thing. Yup, because the lights go out. That's when the candles become useful. To get you out. And don't forget the chain gun hidden back in there. With those bullets, I'm glad to have a chain gun. You can cut through though and not take the damage from the slime. This is yet another area that I clearly remember having to do a lot of text on suggestions on. I guess I'm just calling them out as I remember them. In hindsight, the author was probably just trying to go more for his own thing a little bit, and I don't know if he was happy or unhappy for those textual suggestions, but if he really disagreed with them, he could have just decided not to take them. And these start moving. I think that I didn't get a plasma gun until now. As for, in case you're wondering if there's any playtesting footage, well, I didn't even know YouTube existed yet when I playtested this WAD, so no, there isn't. And I was never a fan of recording demos as LMP files. Nowadays, I just use a YouTube video for playtesting. I remember having to write up a lot of extensive feedback after playtesting. And then to get to the exit, the room with the blinking lights was already back here, so you don't have to go through the room with the blinking lights. Just cross straight over. And yes, thinking about it, there's a number of areas from the original refinery that were definitely cut in this map. I know the area where you see your first Baron of Hell in the original episode 2, there's nothing resembling that in this level. Of course, in this episode, we saw our first Baron of Hell in E2M2 containment area. Maybe I should have suggested something, just a little piece of that whole area at least, I don't know. But a lot of the responsibility for the design is still on the author himself. I may have given extensive feedback, but I still didn't make the levels. And I think this is the last level I'll try to tackle in this video, E2M4 Deimos Lab. I know it's a favorite of some from episode 2. So I'm presuming there's a secret in the stout somewhere. Yep, well, because there's no light on that wall. I guess this is definitely did keep a homage to the stout here with, or homage with just the teleport pad. Get out of there. Use the radiation suit that Hovohibu gave you. There's more, as you can see in the center. And just if you didn't notice though, you can see the outside in this area this time around. You're not just like deep underground. I don't think I did any suggestions to the author about whether an area should be outdoors or indoors, so those are all as Hovohibu had it. And I fell off. And I'll get rescued just before my health runs out. I still got fire from every which way. And this, when I think about this, a little bit like Toxin Refinery 2. You can fall in the pit to raise it up, and that'll give you a lot more room. And it raises these bridges too. And that secret is a godsend right now. I remember the rocket launcher being around. And yes, these trademark calls of Deimos Anomaly, not of Deimos Anomaly, of Deimos Lab are not going anywhere. I don't think it's even something I had to suggest for the author to keep, or however Hebrew to keep. Why do I say the author? I know who the author is. So yes, this crusher trap is going to activate. We got to just run through it. Because that's where your blue key is. And yes, I noticed yet again a lot of areas were cut out. For some people that might be for the better, for others it'll be for the worse. I don't remember noticing it so much in 2010. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying more attention, I think, to the areas that are kept in, trying to have some faithfulness, but also not just feeling like it's a rerun of the original. So your crushers here are not actually on top of the yellow key. but you do have to get past them to get a yellow key, and you can't see the yellow key over there because of those transparent fire blue textures on one side. Okay, here was another room that I remember was textured originally, nowhere near looking like episode 2. I don't remember exactly what suggestions I gave. But there is blood for the first time as opposed to slime. Yep, the wall texture's a little different. You can go through it. It's a fake wall. It's not a big secret though, just a couple of armor bonuses. And the outside ring here, it's still textured in marble and the outer portion. And here, well, if you guessed Crossfire, then you guessed correctly. Because that's what these switches expose you to. And in the original, this area wasn't separated off by a teleporter. You don't really have to kill these imps, I just am. And don't oh, yeah. You want to run straight across, I get lucky you can strafe jump. They'll lower and you will die. And this will lower too, revealing a bunch of barons. So just keep your distance from the fire as the lift comes down. And you can hear the all getting crushed to the death now. Watch as my kill count instantaneously increases from 179 to 186. And I probably made a blunder here in that it does not look like looks like I might have forgotten to tell the author to make sure that there's a way back to the rest of the level. I can't confirm that though. I don't remember well enough to confirm. There are lifts if you fall in those pits. Well, there's a way back I can't find in this short amount of time. And that was the reimagining for Deimos Lab. So it's about halfway through the episode, and I'm gonna call it a video now. What have you thought so far? Which do you prefer? I can't really ask you to judge if my suggestions were for the better beyond what I mentioned my suggestions being, because you don't know everything I suggested, but I'd like to know how you think Hovo Hebrew and I jointly did in coming up with something that resembles a reimagining of the Shores of Hell, and if it stands up decently at all 10 years later. I know there's some things that probably slipped under my radar in 2010, that like the number of areas cut out, that might not have slipped so much under my radar now, but then again I can't really know for sure if they slipped under my radar or if I might have suggested them and Hovo Hebrew just told me he would rather not make the levels that expansive. So I don't remember which way that is. I hope you enjoyed watching and you enjoyed my commentary. And I'll show the other half definitely, especially if there's a demand for it.